Alright, it is a Sunday, and this is going to be the weekly recap from the 18th to the 24th. So, really, the 19th to the 23th. And there was a total of 13 trades. I think I started the week really well, but then when it got to Friday, I just went. I'm sorry if you hear any background noise, but on Friday, there was just. It was a crazy day. There was a lot of setups. A lot of lessons learned on this day. In fact, I'm going to rewatch the video I made for Friday again because there was just so much that I went through, and ultimately ended up $106 up on the day. But I had a really bad trade here with XBIO. This is the first time that I put a big no, as in did I trade it well. This was a horrible setup. The setup wasn't even a real setup. It broke through the VWAP level. Yes, it was very quickly, but I wasn't able to just push myself and cut losses quickly as soon as it broke, like I did with what was it, LCLP twice here and one of the NLST trades that was not successful. This thing just threw off the whole entire stats. But anyway, I had 13 trades, 9 were green. This was a 69% winning percentage, and this thing really killed my stats. My average dollar gain was 20. My average dollar loss was 18. That's obviously way too close. My average dollar percent gain actually was 2.89. My average percent loss was negative 3.16. That's really bad. This thing just threw it off. It just really threw it off. My average position on a winning trade was smaller, but that's fine. Some of them were very speculative trades, but obviously none of this is really going into my favor except for this part where it shows my average dollar gain time in trade was 3 minutes, and here when I in a trade that doesn't work out, it's 1 minute 49 seconds. That shows that, at least in theory, if a setup is not going well, I cut losses quickly. Didn't do that here. This thing really messed with my stats. Again, $106 up on the week, and that was with $8,000 of volume traded, which is obviously worse than last week. Last week I made pretty much the same amount. I said I only traded $5,000 worth of volume. This time was 8. And yeah, I don't like this right here. I just really the stats were really thrown off with this one trade, but it was still a bunch of other things I could have done to improve. I think I was starting off the week well, but Friday was a bit crazy. It's kind of funny to look and see that my last red day was also on a Friday, so maybe by the time I get to a Friday I get kind of exhausted, right? And I get a little risky. I feel like, oh, I'm not gonna trade anything until Monday. I need to really make things work. Maybe I'm having that that bad mindset or something. I need to watch myself closer. But at least, wait, I did not mean to go there. Shit. At least, hold up. I'm being slow right here. At least, my red day is way smaller than any of my green. Well, it's not smaller than any of my green days, but it's not like, oh, my average day is 20 and then my one red day is 50, right? It's nothing like that at all. I've had plenty of green days that were bigger than this, and so it's not horrible. I also added this new thing, so if the trade is like anywhere from like 0 to 1.89, I think, percent positive or negative, it's a yellow. Why make it a green if it was just a small percent gain or a small percent loss like right here? So that's a new thing I added there. As in, did the setup work? I got a 90, which was a B. Out of, did the setup work or not? A lot of these did right here. The majority of them worked out. 2 of them were big yeses. 3 eventually, 2 no's. Excuse me. And as for did I trade well or not? It was yes, but then I had this big no right here, which really knocked it down to a D plus here, as in did I trade it well or not. So what I'm going to do is just go over all 13 of these trades, Tim Lento style, and I really look forward to not just the trades earlier in the week to see how I was doing, but also the last day as well to see what I can do to get better or worse. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. Just look forward to going over some of these. A lot of lessons were learned, and with DPLS, I think it was a lot nicer in the beginning, but towards the end of the week I shouldn't have traded DPLS. It turned out to be just a ridiculous mess. I need to wait for better volatility in terms of that one. But let's go ahead and look at DPLS for the 19th, and this was a morning panic bounce play. So DPLS, the 19th, it had a nice run up right here, and it did have a considerably big red candle. It wasn't huge, but it did offer opportunity. If you look later into the week, I started trading this garbage right here, and I shouldn't have. It just wasn't really offering that much range, but for the 19th it was definitely something that had opportunity, which is all the way back here. Very crazy move, as you can see here. And let's go ahead and see my entry was at, this was a larger size too, 939 at 12.3. So let's look at 939, 12.3. Yeah, I really liked it. Where was it? 12.3. Yeah, I remember this one. I like this trade. I learned a lot from it, but this wasn't really perfect because of the fact that I had more than one entry, I believe, right? Larger size attempts. No, it wasn't actually. So I just had that entry there. I thought I had a better entry. That's interesting. Nope. Yeah, 12.3, 12.3, 12.75 at 9.39, just one in and one out. I thought this was one where I had like multiple entries. Doesn't seem like it. 1, 2, 3 at 9.39. Okay. Yeah, I just did not really get the best entry, but maybe I just had an issue because it was a larger size. But this was my entry right here. I think I did really good in terms of entry because I remember when it initially dropped, and then it had this big volume push right here. Look at the big volume candle. And then I thought maybe they're going to push it back down, and that's exactly what they did. And then I got in here at 1, 2, 3. I feel like I could have done better, but maybe that was the best I could have done. And it traded, you know, very choppy. It didn't do that much better. It barely got past VWAP. My exit was 1275 at 941. 941, 1275 right here. So my exit was right here. My entry was at 1, 2, 3. This wasn't bad. It didn't offer much range. I probably hated how it. No, I think these were just, yeah, these were some crazy prints. I didn't actually get that high, but I sold right past VWAP, which is a goal of mine. Ideally, I try to sell as soon as it forms a top, and then I try selling into the top of the range. Or if I just plan to sell right then and there while it's still uptrending, it should at least be past VWAP. This was the case here. I did trade a larger size, so I think overall that was a pretty good trade attempt on something that didn't even do that nice. It didn't uptrend much further in that sense, and yeah, it did go down under VWAP, but it never came back. It had a follow-up downtrend, and this was a lot nicer, 11 to 13, but I think for what that trade was, I think I did pretty well there. And then I traded again. Yes, I did. I traded it the 19th again, and my second trade was a much smaller position at 1027. So 1027, 1113. We're gonna guess it was down here. Yep, 1027. So I did trade this. This is not a number 5. This is a morning panic bounce play lower low setup. It's not you know, an initial one, because I traded the initial one. 1027 at 1113. So right here, 1027, 1113. So this was a great entry, and it doesn't seem like there was a big volume candle that really would have helped me with my entry or anything like that, but it looks like I just went in because it was putting up a higher low, and I believe I was risking 11 cents. This is one that worked, but it took a very, 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 very long time to do the uptrend. I could have even went a larger size here, just risking 11 cents, because I was so close to it. And that's something I want to start working towards, is that if I get really close to my risk level, like in this case, I could go a much larger size because I am just that close to that risk level. It's not like I'm here at 11.72 and I'm risking 11. That's a lot more range. No, I was very close to the entry. That's the only thing I could have done better, is that I probably could have did better in that sense. Let me see what it says right here. Order issues. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I got in and out the same minute. I did make a small profit, but I did have issues with Schwab, and it threw me off. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah, now thinking about it, I can remember. I think I tried to get in when it first started to turn around, but like Schwab didn't recognize the ticker, and I didn't know what the problem was with that. And then eventually, I had a trade notification. I guess if you were to watch the video of that day that I traded it, it would make a lot more sense, because I'll explain it in detail. But this is because I got in and out immediately, just because of the fact it just put me in the trade at a later point in time when it wasn't really my intention anymore. But this was a nice lower low run up. I was on the right track, just was not able to get executed right here when it did, I guess, the max panic under 11 cents right here. And because I wasn't able to get executed, it kind of just threw off the entire trade. But I guess in theory I would have been very profitable, but I should have went a larger size though. Maybe not in this case, because it was a max panic type of setup under 11 cents. It could have continued to go even further. Maybe it looks like it's trying to hold past 11 after it went under, but then it eventually starts to break further below it. So maybe it wasn't too bad, but I think once it put like a higher low, I can do it Tim Grittani style, where I buy, I add to my position, and it keeps uptrending from there. I have a new risk level. That was a good attempt, if you ask me, in that sense. Let me go ahead and zoom this lower. LCLP is the next trade, just to make sure I didn't skip anything. That's right. LCLP, morning panic bounce play. Let me just read it to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, so this was a complete trade. LCLP, morning panic bounce play for the 20th. So let's look at that. Right about here is the 20th. The next one over. Okay, so yeah, first red candle. It kind of looks crazy here, but the theory is that it's having a nice uptrend, and then it has a first red candle. Let me go ahead and go back to the 20th, which is right here. There was definitely some range in this stock. I mean, it went from 24 sub penny to 6 pennies. That's pretty crazy. So let's go ahead and look at the 20th for LCLP, which is back here. Nice downtrend, as you can tell there. And let's see, my entry was at 936, 283, and my position was almost a $600 position. So 936 was right about here, and what was it, 283? Yeah, 283, 936. So this was a really good entry. It looks like I traded what was the big volume candle, right? But it did have one previously here, and I guess, yeah, I got in for that reason. The only thing I don't like about this is that VWAP was right there. It was right there. It was so close to the level. So that's going to make me less likely to be in the trade as long as I can be. But this one did it too, where it put up a higher low at VWAP. I think this is the one that DPLS and LCLP both did. Higher lows at VWAP, and it continued to leg up. This is something that I'll be, in theory, more prepared to trade in the future. But again, I had that great entry at 283, 936, and my exit was 939 at 302. So 939 was right here, 302. Okay, yeah, so even though I sold this above VWAP, I wasn't extremely happy with myself, because it was just starting to break out of this range, and this thing could have ran much further, and it did. It got to 32, which would have been a lot more in terms of percentage. This is one where I could have probably have tried selling half at VWAP when it broke out, because this one was trading a bit different, and then hold the rest to see if it could continue an uptrend, or maybe just, I guess, try to hold on to these so much longer, because You know, I want to get more profit out of these morning panic bounce plays, and a lot of them, they end up putting up higher lows or lower lows, and they make a nice run. Maybe in the initial morning panic bounce play, I'll be in and out, but for the higher low, like it was right here, or a lower low, I should probably consider to push myself and trade much larger size, especially if I'm close to the risk level, and try to hold on for it longer, seeing if it can put up a higher low on top of that initial entry, and maybe even add to my trade, and then sell into a nice uptrend. Ideally, just kind of learning a little bit from Tim Grittani and Trading Tickers too. If I were, for example, right here, I got in at 936, that's fine. I can even trade a large size because it's going to be a quick in and out trade. I try selling half at VWAP, or the top of the range, which in theory was right here at 30 cents, and then I hold the other half. Maybe I sell the other half here at 31.1 because it's downtrending. It doesn't seem like it's going to get much higher. And then when I see, oh, this is a higher low potential, it's not just at a great number, 30 cents, but it's also at VWAP, I can go a much larger size. And then we have a nice uptrend, right? And then it goes lower here. Maybe I try and I add to my position, and now I move my risk to a higher level, which would be maybe, I guess, the same level right here. I don't know. Or maybe I'll just risk it off of this level. As long as it looks very clear, and then I can hold on to that, and I can be a lot more profitable. That's what I want to do. That's a great lesson. I look forward to rewatching this, you know, weekly recap, and yeah, I just want to be a lot more profitable with these morning panic bounce plays. The next one was, let's take a look. DPLS for the 20th. I got it at 952.1103. So DPLS, just to confirm, it was the 20th, right? Yep. 20th is right here. Might zoom out a little actually. I guess we'll just do it from the very top right there. 20th, I got in at 952.1103. So 952 was right here, 1103. That was a really good entry. I feel like I bottom ticked this thing at 952. I was risking probably 11 cents right here, and even though we didn't have like a big obvious volume candle, it was trading with a lot of volume back here. And then by the time I got to 952, it looked like it was starting to show less volume, which in theory means there's no more panic selling and there's going to be an uptrend, which clearly was the case right here. So I bought again at 952, 1103. I sold 955, 11.4. So right here, 11.4, which is right here. So not really bad. I actually, that's weird. I top ticked this and I bottom ticked this. And it did save me from all of this consolidation, this uptrend in here, but this one did continue to go much further. It wasn't bad for maybe a trade where you want to be in and out very quickly, but again, I do want to get better and try holding these a little bit more. This one did that higher low setup right here, or you might even call this the higher low. I'd rather call this the higher low. VWAP is right there. This is something where I can try going a much larger size. It has an uptrend, you know, and then maybe I can add to my position, risk off of this level. I don't know, there's clearly a lot of room for improvement, but this was a profitable trade in that sense. It looks like I didn't trade the largest size, 400 bucks. That was a 3% move. There was a lot more room. I mean, it did get as high as 12.78 if you want to be Mr. Perfect. Even though I did top tick and bottom tick this thing, if I held it longer, I could have sold it at a higher price, but this was still a good attempt. And yeah, it looks like I played it conservatively because it was choppy, and it only got choppier from this day. That's true. Okay. The next one is LCLP again, inverse head and shoulders. I actually don't really remember this. Maybe by the time I see the chart I'll remember it, but let's look at LCLP for the 21st. right about here is the 21st. It looks all weird again. Let me just do it like this. 21st is right here. So I guess it had a lot of volatility, the top being 35, the bottom being 23. Let's look at the 21st. I guess this might have been the inverse head and shoulders. Let's just highlight the entire day because I don't know what time it was. My entry was 11:44. I held this one for a while. 11:44. I got out 11:51. 11:44 at 262. So 11:44 right here, 262. I guess we'll just zoom in a little more. 11:44 was back here, 262. My entry was right here. Yeah, clearly shoulder, head, shoulder. This shoulder took, I remember now, this thing took a really long time, but it did work out. Eventually, again here at 262. I got out 11:51 at 26455. So 51 right here, 26455. So probably almost 265, but technically 26455. My exit was here, my entry was right here. So I did get a piece of the move, but it clearly started the turnaround eventually. I'd have to, I guess, watch that video again to see how the trading was, but I'm gonna guess it was horrible. It took a very long time. I don't regret cutting this one early just because of the fact that it took so long, and I did hold it at least for 7 minutes. It really wasn't a bad attempt. It's nice to see that it worked. In theory, if I sold at 279 just to see what that would have been like. Yeah, that would have been very profitable in that sense. It would have been close to 7%. I just probably should have tried holding it longer, but hindsight is 2020. You know, if it's gonna be so choppy and low volume, maybe I shouldn't have traded it in the first place, and I've been, just kept my mental capital saved for something even better. But that was a good attempt. I think a lot was learned from that. And this was the last trade before the crazy Friday day. FERN for the 22nd, and this was a number 5, so a morning panic bounce play, lower low. So again, not the initial morning panic bounce play, but the lower low after it. Let's look at FERN for the 22nd. This is one that I added to my watch list a bit later in the run up because I wasn't really looking at it. This was like a previous old school pump, I guess back here perhaps, but yeah, clearly this thing had more room to uptrend because they had one more super large green day. But yeah, this was a pretty good attempt. This is a nice uptrend. This is gonna be ideally a nice morning panic bounce play again in the future. So let's look at the 22nd for FERN, which I'll be honest looks kind of ugly, but let's go ahead and see from right here. It doesn't seem like it trades with much volume. I put big yes here, so let's see it. 1040, this was like, yeah, the lower low. 1046, 15.2. So let's look at 1046, 15.2 right here. This was a pretty good entry, but I'll be honest, this would have been kind of scary. I guess I got in the trade mainly because I was going to risk 15 right here, which is that close to it. We did have a big volume candle here, and then it downtrended, volume started fading. 15 is a risk level. I get in at 15.2. I could have even went larger. I don't know if I could have because it seems like it doesn't trade with much volume, but I got in at 15.2. Let's see when I sold. I sold at 15.9, so basically 16 at 10.50. So let's look at 10.50 right here. Basically right here. I sold right here at 10.50. So I was probably still, I remember this now, I was kind of sketched out because it just literally jumped air right here. And for that I decided to sell because not much volume, it skips air, it might be a little too excessive. I sell at 16. It did touch VWAP at 164, and it even after this sketchy red candle where it got to 15.6 here, it did hold this level somewhat well, and I could have probably sold for more. But I'm not going to get too upset for selling this while it was still uptrending, not even past VWAP, because of the fact that it did literally jump right here and the volume was super low. And why did I put big yes as in whether the setup worked or not? I don't know, that seems a bit excessive. Maybe it did run up, it ran up a lot higher. Yeah, it did get to 17. I don't know if that really warrants it to be like a hugely successful trade, because this thing doesn't have much volume. I'm actually gonna knock this one to a yes for that reason. I mean, unless I see something here. Yeah, I don't say that's a big yes. I'll give it a yes. The setup did work, but it wasn't that nice. So I'm gonna make this a 1, and that's gonna be a 7. So now my score is still an 88. It's still a B, just lower. It's an 88. And I'm going to move this to an 88, because really that thing doesn't trade with much volume for me to consider something like that. But still, it was a good attempt, you know, great practice there. That's something I can't be trading with with a larger account, because I just can't do that. Now we enter the crazy day, 7 trades and 1 trade. Maybe I should just take Fridays off, because I'm obviously just tired by then, and I trade, I guess, the craziest. But considering the fact that I had 7 trades, I traded a lot of dollar volume. I mean, let's just see how much dollar volume was here, right? Yeah, I traded $8,000 of volume this week, and $5,000 of that volume was just on Friday. I probably should maybe just consider to take Friday extra cautiously, or maybe just not even trade Fridays, because I should not be doing crazy stuff like this. Now, some of it was a lot of good lessons, but really this one threw me off. This one was a bad trade, and I'm always at a risk to trading something really stupid. If it's a Friday, last day of the week, I really want to get in a trade, it's going to be till Monday till I trade again. I want to really make it, I got to find the setup, and I trade something stupid like this after hesitating. Some really nice setups with XBIO, but let's go ahead and look at this. This wasn't bad here at all. LCLP, 2 trades here. It was a morning panic balance play, 2 attempted entries that didn't work out. It was going to eventually be that case where I had to cut losses on one of these. So let's look at LCLP for the 23rd. 23rd. Let's just do it from way back here so we don't have that weirdness. I'm pretty sure this was a 20. No, that wasn't the 23rd. That's weird. I put the 23rd. But why does it show that it's the 22nd? Oh, it does show the 23rd. Okay. Yeah, so this was a big red candle. It did break this, I guess this 23 level pretty nicely. It just broke it. That offered opportunity. This was the place right here. Let's just go ahead and go from here. And look at that morning panic bounce play. I can already see where I traded it because I remember it. Anyway, 935, 936. Okay, let's look at 935. And I got in and out the same minute here. 935, 249, 242. So let's actually zoom in a bit more. 939 right here. I got in and out. 246 was my entry, I believe. Right? I want to make sure I got this right. 249. I knew something was weird. 249, 242, 935. So right here, 935 was right here. 249, 242. Okay. Obviously traded in and out the same candle. It wasn't profitable. Why did I do this? Why did I do this? Because I was risking it off of basically the low right here, which was 245. I thought maybe it's going to hold itself together here. There wasn't a big volume candle, but they are big volume candles in theory. At the time, clearly the big one was right here. So as soon as we cracked this 245 level, I immediately put a sell order. I was in at the top right here, and I sold near the bottom, which is fine. I actually did sell the bottom, so I bought the top, literally sold the bottom. It was an attempt. You know, it was good that I cut losses immediately, because even though I was trading, you know, I guess a normal size of 500 bucks, I only lost 2 small amounts. And in theory, when I trade the one that actually does work out, I can make like 45, 50 bucks, and it just clearly, you know, makes a difference. But that wasn't the case here. What I shouldn't have done is tried again in the same range. I should have waited. You know, if I miss it, I miss it, and I can trade a higher low, lower low. But I shouldn't have tried twice in the same range. I think that was a little degenerate. Let's look at this one, which was 936 to 939. So 936 was right here, right? Yeah, I literally got in the next minute. I should, in the future, if I have to cut losses because it isn't working out, maybe it's going to have another leg down, which it clearly did here, I should just wait and see, you know, if it puts up a lower low from that range that failed, obviously, unless it's just like a big volume candle that makes it super obvious. That wasn't the case here. Should have done better with that. I get in, yeah, again at 936. I got out at 939. Why? Because the new risk level was right here at 242, and it cracks it. Literally cracks it, and then I got out. Let's see my entry and exit. 25, 246. So 936, I got in at 25 near the top, and then 939 I got out at 246 because it wasn't working. I just had better range selling here. You know, I bought here. Just not that much range was lost there. I should have not have traded the second one. That probably would have been better for all the reasons that I mentioned. It did have this downtrend, and unfortunately I was not a part of this because I was trading the next one, DPLS, which was absolute trash. Again, just lots of lessons really learned this week. But this was in theory the morning panic bounce play, big volume candle. Right here was a consolidation candle. It probably would have been sketchy, you know, if I go long at 23 and I freaking risk 22. I guess that's not that bad. Yeah, I get in at 23 in theory. I risk 22.5. I risk, you know, half half a penny, right? It did get lower at some point, but if I was playing it by the plan, you know, would have held through it. It would have gotten past VWAP. So in theory, I'm in at 23, and maybe I can try selling at 244. It ultimately didn't, you know, provide much range. It didn't work out that nicely. But, you know, at the time it's at 22.7. VWAP is at 24. So it's not something horrible worth trading. But yeah, it ultimately just didn't really work out here in that sense. But yeah, I didn't trade any of this. I should have been in for this. This would have been a lot nicer than what I traded, which was DPLS. Again, that was right here. Dang, did I? I guess I did not even see this price action. Yeah. I guess did I not see this price action? This thing just took a dump. Wow. DPLS just took a, like, it looks horrible here. Let's just highlight. What is this mess? Alright, DPLS just took a, I mean, I guess it probably wasn't much range. Yeah, 12 to 10. It looks like it dropped from 30 to like 14, but no, it just trades like that. It doesn't offer a lot of range, but still, that's crazy. Let's go down to DPLS. Warning panic bounce play. That didn't work. In theory, it didn't work. This thing traded like trash. It did offer some range, but it was horrible. 949, 953. So let's look at 949, 1256. So I guess I'm gonna have to like just not show all of this. 949. I guess we'll bring this closer. 949, 1256, which was right here. 949, 1256 was right here. So somewhat near the bottom at 949. This thing just traded like absolute trash. I might even cut this off to see if it looks better. Alright, I'm back. I made the chart look nicer. DPLS was a trade, and that was at 949, 12.56. So I guess the entry wasn't really that bad. But the price action, was it really 949? I feel like that wasn't really it. No, I guess it was 949, 953. This thing was very frustrating. Again, 949, which was right here, 12.56. I mean, this thing was a pain in the neck. This thing, as you can tell, just traded horribly. Jeez, yeah, this was it. And I got out 953. My average was 1257, just barely higher. I had 2 exits, and they were about 50-50. Some of it was at a loss, some of it was at a profit. 953 at 12.57 in theory, so 953, 12.57. Again, my entry was, in 2 pieces, so it's not like I sold in this minute the entire size, but 12.57. I barely made more profits. It was barely profitable. What happened? This thing was trading like absolute trash. I shouldn't have traded it. I was trying so hard to sell at this 12.6 level, and it just wasn't working. I was trying to get 12.65 right here. I had an order at 12.65, then I put one at 12.64 trying to get executed, and then I go back to 12.65. And then, it goes down to 12.64 here. And then I just like, alright, just get me out the freaking trade. And I got the rest out at 12.53. And I did sell like more than half of the position at 12.6. This was a horrible trade. And at one point I thought to myself, hey, why don't I just get out of this piece of crap, DPLS, choppy looking stock, and go back to LCLP, which is clearly showing the signs of a bottom of a morning panic bounce play. Again, because it was having that big volume candle back here, and sure, it didn't offer much opportunity, but this was way freaking better than DPLS. And this was just a really bad setup. In the future, I will not trade DPLS or anything similar to it unless it has like a nice downtrend on the daily candle. Like if it has a very nice large red candle, I'll consider it. It's not going to be this choppiness right here, where it just looks like absolute, trash, just barely offering any range. Even though this one looks a bit nicer, that's because this thing's failed. It just cracked it. It's like a stair-stepper setup, right? It just keeps downtrending. Eventually, there was a bottom here. I don't remember this price action, I'll be honest. I don't remember being a part of this or seeing this. This would have been kind of sketchy to trade, but I guess if you want to trade these afternoon panics, this was it. Still, this one again, big volume candle, was the one before. I've seen this already. I've learned, I've adapted. Before it wasn't really like that. Before it would have a big volume candle. The next candle would be like still higher than the bottom of the big volume candle. It would be a consolidation candle, and then it will uptrend. But now it's like this. It has a big volume candle, and then sometimes the next volume on the next candle is like a whole nother leg down, even though it doesn't trade the same amount of volume. And then it has like a consolidation candle. This would have been something where I'm like, oh, maybe I missed it if I didn't get in here. And then it comes back down to 10.77, which isn't horrible. I can take a trade and risk literally the bottom of this previous candle, and now the candle that I'm in at 10.77, and then I can be in for a potential profit. But this is some crazy trading, some crazy price action. Even though it looks nice here, there was off volatility. As you can tell, it was in multiple channels. It wasn't all in the morning, which is way more ideal. So great lesson there, just not trading these really bad setups in that sense. NLST is the next one. I traded this 3 times, and I traded 100 shares, and then the last 2 were 200 shares. I don't regret trading larger, and I did miss the ultimate turnaround. There were multiple turnarounds that I could have been a part of, but I missed the main one, and that's totally fine. But I need to push myself to trade them. You know, how bad can it be if I, you know, even if I make money on all the ones that don't like it, that isn't really the ultimate bottom, and then the one that is the ultimate bottom, I miss out on so much profit. So I do need to push myself in that sense, but that's fine. NLST, the 23rd morning panic bounce play. So let's look at NLST. This thing has like a lawsuit with Google or something, and it's been having this nice uptrend from 2 to freaking 10. Nice. This is a lot better. You know, now this probably won't happen with DPLS anytime soon. Maybe it will, but this is the kind of red candle I should keep trading. Now, the only thing I don't like about this OTC is that it is high priced, and high priced OTC stocks tend to be very, 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 very choppy. Another one like this is LWLG, but let's just zoom in for the 23rd because that's when I traded it. And let's see, my first one was at 1109 at 810. So let's look at 1109, 810, which was this move right here. As you can tell, I mean, this thing, you know, this is what this is right here. The ultimate bottom was way later in the day, but for now, 1109 at 810. I could have gotten a better entry. I remember this. I was starting to have issues hesitating, and that was a problem there. Maybe again I was tired. Maybe it was a little too crazy. I don't know. But I will learn now to take Fridays a little more cautiously. So 810 was my entry right here. I did see these two big volume candles, but I was waiting for a consolidation candle, and then I didn't want to miss it. It started to be all weird, but then it kind of went back low to this level. Why did I get in at 1110, right? 1110, 1109, almost 1110, 1109 right here at 810, because I was risking 8. You know, 8 was right there. That was my risk level. Sure, it could have gotten to the 780, you know, 5, and then it bounces, but that was my risk level 8 because it's close. You know, I'm risking 10 bucks in theory, and there was more upside, but I did sell this kind of early. Although I am happy that I at least held this thing a bit longer than normal. 834, 1114. Right here, 1114, 834. It was actually a good entry, but I felt like I wasn't doing my best because I was still, you know, selling this while it was in an uptrend. And, you know, maybe that is the case, but at the same time, these OTCs that are high priced, they're very sketchy. As you can tell, this one didn't get to VWAP, which would have been the goal, and that was my goal back then. But I sold because it was starting to show some kind of a topping action. It did get a little higher. It got to 845, but that was the idea there. Maybe, you know, it wasn't too bad that I was selling it while it was still in the uptrend, just because it was a higher priced OTC. I won't beat myself up too much for that, but if this was a lower priced, you know, OTC with this same type of setup, same type of chart, same type of price action, and all of this put together, I would be upset. But I'm gonna give myself some slack just because it wasn't a low priced OTC. And yeah, I guess that's just what I said back there too. And again, that was the first out of 3. You know, it went much lower. It went from $6. It went to $6.30 and got as high as 8. I missed the ultimate bottom, but you know, I didn't trade too horribly. I actually traded NLST pretty well, all 3 of the trades. Now, talking about good trades, this one was the stupidest trade I had this week. This one was just idiocy. This is like when I first started trading in 2015. And, you know, just want to be a part of the action. You know, oh, I feel like it's going to spike. Just no setup, no pattern, nothing. I hesitated. Oh, but now I see the setup, right? Yeah, let's go in for it's going to spike again. This was a stupid trade. Let's look at let's look at XBIO. This was a this was a listed stock too. Look at this freaking wick. My goodness. 475, it closes at 252. Wow, that is crazy. Oh my gosh. I missed this, right? And then I missed this. I missed this. And then my stupid trade was right here. And then I missed this. But I didn't miss the sell here, right? And then this I don't mind missing because this was a very quick morning, not morning panic bounce, wait, inverse head and shoulder, second higher low. I don't mind missing this one, but I literally missed 1, 2, 3, 4 setups. And then, you know, all of that hesitation, and I'm just like, let me get in right here. It's going to spike. That was an idiot trade. That was a dumb trade. I got in 12.16 at 9.49, so 3.95 basically. 12.16, this idiot trade right here at the 3.95. At least I didn't top ticket at 98, but still it was kind of high. 9.35. What was I thinking? Well, in theory, inverse head and shoulder, second higher low, shoulder, head, shoulder, but then this would be the second higher low, and perhaps, but it didn't do the spike until I got to here. But why would this be the second higher low? I mean, I guess it's higher than here, but it was just here, so it's like a sketchy, like, double bottom from this range and here. This was a dumb trade. Now, sure, it did have the classic listed stock big, like, rip with crazy volatility in that sense. I mean, it dropped from 392 to 370, right? So just it did offer like a big downtrend, but in theory, as soon as it cracks this freaking VWAP, especially with listed stocks, I should have tried selling, even if I got in you know, a market sell order, right, and I get executed at 370. At least I tried, you know. I didn't. I let it downtrend, and then, you know, I thought maybe this thing's gonna slowly downtrend the rest of the day, which it did, just not right here. And you know, I took a sell at 370, right? Yeah, and it was 12.19. Was this candle? Yeah, 12.19, 370. I just didn't want to get in something where it just keeps downtrending, and it did do that. It kept downtrending just later in the day, so at least I didn't just bag hold it for like an hour or something. But I should have tried selling as soon as it cracked VWAP. You know, even if I got in a bad exit at 378, that's still better than 370. And I could have been like, well, you know, it was too bad. It was a shitty trade, bad trade, but you know, at least I tried cutting losses as soon as I could. I let the entire candle play out, and then I sold. I should have sold the moment it cracked VWAP, especially considering how listed stocks are, that they can do setups like this. This isn't even that bad. Like, I've seen some where it just has like an offering, it just has a crazy candle, right? I've had a trade like that before. I can just try selling as soon as I can, not wait for this thing to bottom out. And you know, I thought maybe I can sell it at a bottom and wait for it to uptrend. What if it doesn't uptrend? I should have sold immediately, the same way I traded NLST, LCLP. As soon as it cracks the risk level, I just need to sell instantly. And I should have done better in that sense. It was a bad setup. This was a really bad trade. Messed with my stats here. But at least, you know, it was just a small $25 loss. I still ended up down just $10 on the day, when I traded $5,000 worth of volume. Craziness. It could be a lot worse, but it could have definitely been a lot better. Definitely could have been a lot better. NLST, the last two trades, was it around the same time period? Yeah, kind of, yeah. This was like similar to the LCLP, where I was trying to get that you know, that panic, right? This isn't the initial panic because I traded that already, but this is the lower low. One entry exit just didn't work out. I did very good cutting losses quickly. Sure, it was a $28 loss, which you say in theory, oh well, you lost, you know, more here, 28, here's 24. Why aren't you upset with this one? Because look at the percent loss. It was just right under 2, and I traded a $1,400 position. I traded a $400 position, $1,000 less of a position, and I lost 6%. That's why. This was a great attempt in that sense. Here with NLST, it just didn't happen at that range. You know, I just need to learn, recalibrate, try again. I did. I was profitable in that sense. Again, I missed the ultimate bottom, but still. NLST 1249. 1249, 732. I guess we'll just highlight the from here. 1249, 732. So my entry was right back here. Let me zoom in a little more. I guess I won't show this initial one. It shows it right here. Just so the chart looks better, we'll do it like that. 1249 right here, 732. So I clearly thought it was going to turn around. It was a big volume candle here at 1248. 1249 was not just ripping lower, although it did, you know, like one candle after that, which is totally fine. Again, I cut losses quickly. 732. I was probably risking this low right here, which was 718. Yeah, that's exactly it. And then when it cracked to here at 1250, which I'm guessing that's when I sold, I was able to get a nice sell at 718. It was a loss there. Yeah, it was 1250. Just that was a great attempt. I just didn't get the ultimate bottom. I did see the big volume candle right here at 1248. And then I saw this thing was consolidating. It wasn't making a leg down. This was a little choppy in that the next one did turn out to be a leg down. But that was fine. Again, I cut losses quickly. Not a big deal. Last trade of the day. Last trade of the day. NLST 1253, 710. So let's look at 1253, 710 right here. 1250. That was not my entry. 1253, 710. Yeah, that was not my. Was it really my entry? No. I'll be back. Let me see the exact entry and exit. I probably got that wrong. Alright, I have the right times now. It was 1251.36 and my exit was 1253. So let's look at 1251 for 710. 1251 was back here at 710. Now I got in this one, I remember, because even though it could have continued a downtrend, I was risking 7. Nice round number 7. 7 did hold here. It did break under. I guess create like a max panic under 7 as low as 677, and then it turned around at 725. A lot more range here, but I traded this tiny bounce again. 1251 at 710, and I got out 1253, 728. So I got out right here, 728. Again, it just probably felt like it was topping action. I wasn't very happy with myself because I felt like I was selling this while it was still in an uptrend. But my gut feeling was that this thing, again, being a high-priced OTC, is just being super choppy. I feel like it's going to turn around. It's probably not the exact bottom. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like it's holding itself together. It's not uptrending as well as it could be. It actually ended up being a good sell, so I won't beat myself up for that. Again, if this was a lower-priced OTC, I probably wouldn't even trade like this, but that was totally the case here. This thing is crazier than DPLS in that sense, when DPLS traded with actual volatility. But that was a setup here. I missed this one. I could have traded it, but I remember I just left the room because, you know, I just needed like a mental break, really. Yeah, again, it was a crazy day Friday, yeah, I could have done much worse. Could have done better too. Missed out on this. I remember my video recording here saying I'm just gonna watch this thing and learn from it. Again, that's the 3rd time in a row I say that. Alright, I'm back. Okay, yeah, I did miss the ultimate bottom here. I'm not sure where it was cut off, but 3rd time in a row I say, oh, I think it's the bottom, or maybe not, but I'm just gonna watch, and it turns around. This thing offered so much range. I could have tried again. You know, maybe I could have tried getting in at 44, risking. That would have been sketchy though. I'm not trying to risk, you know, $20 if I were to have traded You know, what's a $1,400 position, but this thing did get past VWAP eventually. It took a long time. It fought itself through. It was an inverse head and shoulders. I would have felt a lot safer trading this shoulder, head, shoulder, but I hesitated, unfortunately. And then the second higher low, I hesitated here too, but this was a bit quick. It was just 2 minutes. 720 to 776. Could have done a lot better this day, but overall I think I learned a lot. I look forward to rewatching this. Just a lot of things in terms of hesitating, taking Fridays more cautiously, selling you know, at least when the top is formed, and then trying to sell at the top of that range or at VWAP, at least if it gets past VWAP. But if it's like very sketchy DPLS type of stock, or maybe the volume is crap, it's not that bad if I sell while it's still doing an uptrend. Just no hesitation really when it comes to these type of setups, because the last thing I want to do is hesitate on a good setup, and then when a bad setup or a fake setup like the XBIO trade I did shows up, I'll trade it immediately and then I get wrecked. That's not a good you know, mindset. But I'm glad I'm able to have all of this recorded and tracked, so I can look back and learn what to do and what not to do. Some of these aren't perfect. They have a morning panic bounce play. It has a big volume candle, and then the next candle afterwards is not a consolidation candle. It rips even lower, and then you see if the candle after that is a consolidation candle, and if it is, at least at the time, you take a trade, risk the bottom of that candle, the one after the big volume candle, and you know, if it makes another downtrend and breaks the low of that candle, just cut losses quickly and try again later. Look for round numbers like 11 cents, $7 here with NLST was a level I played. A lot of good lessons learned in that sense, and yeah, I look forward to watching this. This was pretty large. I hope I can do a lot better this week. I'm thankful for the opportunities. I just have to keep working harder. I can't say it again. You know, I really look forward to rewatching this and seeing what I can do to keep getting better.